So let's talk about cooling measure in 2021. And I would phrase it as a question. Cooling measure in 2021, are you sure? So over the weekends, I have been tuning to the webinars from the Singapore Property Show. And to my amusement, almost every speaker talked about cooling measure. And this afternoon, I have my fair share of talking about cooling measure, but I would share with you my point of view of what kind of cooling measures, if there is cooling measures, and what are the possible formulas that the government may scrutinize on before cooling measures. So I'm not speculating, I'm just giving you my point of view. All right, first, there's three important questions to ask. Is Singapore property market growing too fast? Is there enough land supply? And is the land supply enough to cool price? So these are the very three important questions that we need to ask first before we jump to the conclusion that there is cooling measure or not. So first up is property price growing too fast? So we have seen from the media, very often it's very sensational headlines that property prices have gone up a lot. So there is impeding cooling measures, and cooling measures is imminent, and so on. So, but then the key is this. The government concerns is also in the headlines. And what they say is they are concerned about property price rise beyond economic fundamentals. So to drive on this point and to research more about the Singapore economic fundamentals, okay, we would not want to be too disturbed by the soaring prices that rise out of new cooling measures that is filling up all the headlines. So what we want to do is we want to scrutinize on the past property prices growth versus the economic growth, and to check it out actually what happens during then if we compare the property price growth and the economy growth. And if the property price growth is so much higher than the economic growth, then whether there's a cooling measure or no cooling measure that comes about, check this out. So this is what we have found. We have done these numbers and we put inside this chart just to illustrate to you since 2016 fourth quarter to first quarter 2021. Okay, each quarter is filled with informations of the PPI growth and also GDP growth. PPI is property price index, which represents the property price market. And the other one is GDP, which is representing the Singapore economy growth. So we put them side by side. All right, the red legends represents PPI and the blue legends represents economy growth. So there are times when PPI exceed GDP. So that is in first quarter 2018, and then also in second quarter 2018. And during that time, in July 5th, 2018, cooling measure was introduced. So it was 2 straight quarters of property price perform much better than the GDP growth. So there is also another occasion that is in second quarter 2019 and third quarter 2019. Okay, the PPI have outperformed GDP growth, but no cooling measure. Okay, and right now, check this out. First quarter 2021, PPI is much more than GDP. PPI has grown as much as 3.3%, and GDP is only 0.2%. So that's where the alarm bell comes. Okay, and that's where the government or the the announcement that the government is seriously looking into the property market. So is there a formula for cooling measures? So if we scrutinize further, is that we understand from the past cooling measure, it was 2 straight quarters of growth difference of 6%. Okay, so what this means is there was a growth difference of 3.1% in quarter 1 and 2.9% in quarter 2. Okay, so that brings me to 6%. But during the second quarter, 2019, there is a growth difference of property market and economy of only 2.2%. So there isn't a cooling measure back then. And right now, first quarter, okay, the growth difference is 3.1%. So it needs another 2.9% to be the same as 6%. Okay. However, if quarter 2 growth is not more than 2.9%, so there may not have anything. So, I mean, that is my guess. If not, then there may have a way to calibrate this. Okay, so the formula may differ from what I'm trying to explain to you, but I view it as there is a chance that there is a cooling measure, but not 100%.